Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight's webinar for all about exploring the city of Guelph. Before I get started, I would like to acknowledge that the University of Guelph resides in the land of Between Lakes Treaty Number 3, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This land is a part of the Dish with One Spoon, a covenant between Indigenous nations to live peaceably on the territories of the Great Lakes region. We recognize that this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Inuit and Métis people, and acknowledging them reminds us of our responsibility to the land where we work and live. My name is Jessie Kennedy, and I'm excited to be the host of this webinar series. I graduated from the University of Guelph in 2017. I was in the Bachelor of Applied Science program, completing a major in child studies and a minor in psychology. During my time as a student, I was a tour guide as well as a social media ambassador, and now I'm the acting liaison officer for secondary school recruitment, and I also work part-time in our athletics department. I am hosting the webinar series weekly for the University of Guelph for fall of 2020. It's a great way for us to talk about different topics when looking at post-secondary education. Each week, we'll be talking about things such as admission plan. We'll be talking about how to enhance your University of Guelph degree. We'll be talking about co-op, experiential learning. We also have a webinar specifically for parents and supporting members. So after tonight's webinar, I would encourage you to visit our website, admission.uoguelph.ca/events, and you can see all the upcoming webinar series. For tonight's webinar, we are talking about everything to do with the city of Guelph, which is my second home. We'll be talking about location, sights and sounds, working in the city of Guelph. We'll have an alumni spotlight, and then we will have a live Q&A at the end of the session. If you have any questions throughout tonight's presentation, please use the Q&A feature, as my colleagues will be responding to those throughout the presentation. And at this time, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Ryan. So Ryan, welcome, and thanks so much for attending tonight's presentation.
Thank you, Jesse. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Guelph webinar this evening. My name is Ryan Padam, and I'm a liaison officer for the University of Guelph. I graduated from the university in 2019 from our Bachelor of Commerce program. During my days on campus, I had a major in management, economics, and finance. I was also a co-op student during my days at Guelph. And during my time at Guelph, I was also pretty involved with many extracurricular opportunities and different things within Lang Business, our business school at the university. And I can speak on those a little later on in our webinar this evening. A few other things about me is I really love basketball. So whether it's running a pickup game with friends or coaching, I really love all aspects of the game. A few other things, I really love the outdoors, so I really took advantage of that during quarantine this year, going for a walk, hiking, fishing, and all in between. And as well as this evening, I'd like to introduce one of our guest panelists this evening, Mike Souton. He's the president and founder of the Canadian Barbecue Boys, and he'll be speaking to us about himself and how he grew his business in the city of Guelph as well. So welcome, Mike. Come on in and tell the audience a little bit more about yourself too.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. So yeah, my name is Mike Sutton. I was at the University of Guelph. I actually am alumni now, just graduated in 2020 from the BCom Marketing Management program. And while I was at Guelph, I started and built a company, Canadian Barbecue Boys. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of support from other students, from professors, from faculty at the university. And a little bit later on, I'll be talking about my experience and how I was able to do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mike and Ryan, for joining us tonight, and looking forward to the webinar. So with that, let's get started. And believe it or not, I actually asked quite frequently where the University of Guelph is located, and we are proud to be in the city of Guelph. We're about an hour west of Toronto, and we have a population of about 130,000 people, just a few more than that. And one thing that's great about the city of Guelph is we have been ranked one of Canada's smartest cities. We're also close to many different areas, and that's really important when you're looking at post-secondary institution, is to see where it's in relation to. We're about 30 minutes from Kitchener-Waterloo, which is home to the Tech Hub, which has many Fortune 500 corporations that hire many of our summer co-op students so that they can have jobs throughout their time as a student at the University of Guelph. We're also very close proximity to the 403, which can lead to regions such as Hamilton, Burlington, and the Niagara region. And we are one of the fastest growing cities in Ontario. Many families are they're looking now closer to Guelph because we're so close to the 401, but we also have that small community feel. So what's important when looking at a university is really to make sure you love the city, because when you're not only choosing a school for 4 years, you're now choosing a new home. And what's also important when looking at schools is how you're going to navigate your way throughout the city. So Ryan, I know that you grew up in Cambridge, pretty close to the city of Guelph, and you are a commuter student at the U of G.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as Jesse mentioned, my hometown is Cambridge, Ontario. So just 20, 25 minutes down the street. So when I was commuting to the University of Guelph, I drove every day. So much parking on campus. So although Guelph really has that small hometown feeling to it, it truly is a commuter school. So students can really, it's really easy accessible from the Kitchener-Waterloo area, from the downtown Toronto core, and really anywhere in between. So there's so many different options. So personally, I drove every day. Many different parking options available for semesterly students, full year, or even just monthly permits for students driving to school occasionally. Other than that, Go buses run directly to the university on a daily basis, many times a day. We have the Go train that runs straight into downtown Guelph. One of my colleagues, Michelle, took the Go train in pretty often as she commuted from Scarborough on occasion. We also have the Via Rail, which runs at least once a day, which can really take you from Guelph to Toronto and really anywhere in Canada where the Via Rail runs. Greyhound buses run occasionally as well into the downtown core as well as directly to the university. And in terms of the City of Guelph Transit, when a student starts their studies at the University of Guelph, you will get a University of Guelph bus pass. And I know, Jesse, you lived in the city of Guelph when you were a student and you took the bus to campus every day to come to school, right?
I did. So a question that we get often from prospective students is, should I live on campus during my time or what's the best approach? And most of our students will live on campus in first year in a typical normal year. For updates about COVID and residents, we do encourage you to visit our website. But speaking about a normal year, most students do live on campus in their first year. So it's a very short commute to campus, just walking across. We are a mid-sized university, so you're maybe about a 5 to 7 minute walk from one side of the campus to the other. And then in your upper years, most students typically tend to live off campus. And what I love with the city is that there's no real dominant student center within Guelph. It's not that students live on one certain side of the city. There's really great spots. So we have a lot of students that will maybe look at getting a lease and they'll live in a house during their upper years. That's what I did. I lived with 4 other students and we took the bus to class every day. We have some students that live closer to downtown, maybe in a condo. I know some of my friends, their parents purchased a home in the city of Guelph. Guelph's actually been ranked one of the best places to buy a home right now. So it's really up to the student what they're interested in, but then it's very accessible to get from any part of Guelph right on campus. So in terms of the bus pass, Ryan mentioned a little bit, it'll be included in your tuition when you're paying as a full-time student, and your student card, which that was what will also double as your bus pass. So you'll have a valid bus sticker. And what I loved about the bus was that there were so many different routes that I could take, and it'll go right to the bus loop right on campus by the University Centre. And then from there, I could walk to any of my classes. It run 7 days a week. So it was based on my class schedule. I would take a different bus maybe at a certain time. And one thing that I loved about it is I didn't have to then pay for parking on campus. And I didn't have to worry about, shoveling my car out of the snow. And it was just a great way to get to campus and be very accessible, and lots of different transportation modes for students. I know a lot of students might look at maybe going home on the weekend as well. So I lived about 2 hours, my hometown, near Barrie, Ontario, and it was very easy for me to maybe take the bus into Toronto and then take the train back to Barrie. Or sometimes if I wanted to visit friends at different schools as well, it was very accessible to use any of the transit modes, and there's typically a student discount as well. So lots of great opportunities to navigate and explore the city of Guelph. And Ryan, what were some of your favorite things maybe to explore in the city when you were a student?
Yeah, for sure. So I really loved all a whole bunch of different areas within the city. So whether it's going for a walk at Guelph Lake or so many other things, but Guelph is really known as the city of music. There's so many different concerts and festivals that happen on a year-to-year basis. So the annual Hillside Festival is one that we're very well known for. It's a 3-day festival, which draws crowds from the University of Guelph students to many people outside of the university as well. We'll have crowds come in. It's a 3-day music festival with musicians and bands all across Ontario. We've had performers in the past, such as Sarah McLachlan, Arcade Fire. We also have many other concerts that happen within the city of Guelph as well. So in 2019, the Arkells performed at the Sleeman Centre in the city of Guelph. So the Sleeman Centre is one of our most well-known buildings and one of our most well-known centers. The main use of the Sleeman Centre is the home to our OHL team, the Guelph Storm, but it also is the host of the Guelph Nighthawks, our brand new CEBL team. So the CEBL is a brand new league that's been making its rounds all over Canada. We have a lot of basketball stars that are coming up from there. We've had some athletes who participated and competed on our varsity teams with the Guelph Griffins, and they're now part of that CEBL team. And Jesse, I know you're a big hockey fan as well, and your brother actually used to play for the Guelph Storm, right?
I did, yeah. I have fond memories of coming to the Sleeman Centre. So my brother played, it was probably back in 2007, 2008 for the Guelph Storm. And that was really my first introduction to the city. I liked the proximity that it was from my hometown, so just about 2 hours. And I love that there's always something to do in the city of Guelph. That's really important because maybe in first year, if you're just learning about a new city and you want to explore and try different things. So I love that there's always, as Ryan mentioned, concerts going on. I'm a huge athletics person, so I love checking out different sports games that we have, whether that is on campus for our very own Guelph Griffins or watching Guelph Storm or the Nighthawks, as Ryan mentioned. So the Sleeman Centre is a place that I've visited many times where I would come down to the city of Guelph and watch my brother play on weekends. And what I also love about our community involvement is we have many of our Griffin sports teams have the opportunity to use the Sleeman Centre as well. This past year, our women's hockey team got to play a game here in October, so previously in 2019. And then our longstanding tradition is the Frosty Mug. So our varsity men's hockey team plays here for over 10 years now. It's a game that we have during the winter season, so in January, and it really brings the community together. We have a friendly competition between one of our affiliate campuses, and it's just such a great way to bring both schools together, have some friendly competition, and it is a packed out crowd every single year. You can see some photos on screen here of the games that we've had in the past, and it's really just showing that Griffin spirit, but also the community of Guelph spirit as well. Our junior Griffins will attend, and it really is just a great community involvement event. And you'll see a picture on screen here when our men's team won in 2018, and they also took home the trophy in 2020. So lots of great ways that we incorporate that University of Guelph community with our city. The mayor, Cam Guthrie, he is actively involved in our Griffin sports community. You'll often see him at many of our events. So I really just appreciate that bond and connection that we have, and really our students are fully integrated into the city of Guelph. And Ryan, you talked about a few things, but maybe you want to share some other kind of important things that you like to do in the city of Guelph as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the great things about the city of Guelph is we have that great mix between the city life, but also the other aspects of the city of Guelph include the nature side, which is an amazing part as well. And it kind of fits the city's theory and the city's motivation of being a green city. So many walking trails. Guelph Lake is very nearby to the university where you can go down for a walk. You can go rent a canoe and go on down there. We have the outdoor skating rink, so you can take a part in the wintertime. We also have the Arboretum, which is directly attached to our campus. So it's 400 acres of space with many of our students at the university participating in field courses there and research studies from our professors in the Bachelor of Science and Agriculture program. But it's also a great study space just to go for a walk, on a date spot to go for a walk. Disc golf course. So many times me and my friends would escape studying for a little bit, forgetting about the test and stress of exams for a little bit, and go for and play 18 holes in the disc golf course. Also about 9 kilometers of walking trails. So if you want to go clear your mind, you want to go for a bike ride, it really is just a great spot to kind of de-stress, unwind, and enjoy nature for a little bit and forget about the city life and just vibe out for a little bit. Now I know Jesse as a big puppy lover. We also see lots of puppies walking the Arboretum from time to time as well.
Yeah, Guelph is a very animal-friendly city. I personally don't have any of my own dogs, but lots of my friends do. So I often will look after them and dog sit and take them to many of our walking trails on campus. Picture on screen now, you'll see on the left, that's Harvey, and on the right, Brindle. And I just love that there's so much to do in the city, and everyone's so active, whether, going through the Arboretum, for any of the walking trails. As I mentioned, in terms of just like the campus itself, we also have the vet college. So we have lots of our students that train guide dog puppies right on campus. And I love that it's just a very welcoming and warm community. And definitely the puppies are probably one of my favorite things with the University of Guelph and the city. And I know we're about 15 minutes into the webinar, and if you have any questions, as I mentioned, or maybe just want to know a little bit more, definitely feel free to pop any questions in the Q&A, and my colleagues Michelle and Andres are responding to those throughout the presentation. If you've attended any of my presentations before, you know that I am a huge foodie, and one thing that I love about not only the University of Guelph campus, but the city of Guelph is that we have an incredible restaurant scene. And I have to do a shout out to our Guelph researchers because we are actually home to creating the Yukon Gold Potato. So hopefully with no technical difficulties, I'm going to share a short commercial here about the Yukon Gold Potato.
Brandon, order some more of these Yukon Gold fries from Skip the Dishes.
Yukon's greatest creation.
Brandon, everybody knows these were invented in Guelph. That's such a you thing to say.
Skip the dishes. You deserve great delivery.
Brandon,
So I had to give a shout out there for the Yukon Gold potato that was invented at the University of Guelph. And on my next slide here, I just have some incredible restaurants that I love to go to. Lady Glazed Donuts, an incredible sweet shop that I like to go to. Baker Street Station. You'll see there's some smoothie locations on there. Also love going to the Boathouse, which I think, speaking on behalf of my entire recruitment team, I think we talk about it in all of our presentations. It's an incredible ice cream shop. They also have a tea shop. It's right on the Speed River, so you can rent a canoe and kayak. And I think, and hopefully throughout this presentation, you're really getting the sense that there is a lot of activity and things to do in the city. As much as choosing a university and academics is a big part of that decision, post-secondary education, you also are having a new home for the next 4 years, and you want to make sure that there are things that maybe you're passionate about. So if you love the outdoors and green spaces, and the farmers market in Guelph is an incredible experience. So I encourage you to do your research after the presentation today. Maybe check out some of these restaurants that I've mentioned. If you're in the area and want to pick up takeout, look at any of the Instagram accounts, and really just learn more about the city of Guelph. It's an incredible spot. And I think I'd speak on behalf of all of my colleagues when we say we really fell in love with the city. And it's kind of that hidden gem when you're thinking about when you're applying to university. You don't realize how much you're going to be integrated into the community. So I encourage you to check out some of these restaurants and see what they're all about. Something that's you might not know about the University of Guelph is we actually have a major called Hospitality and Tourism Management within our Bachelor of Commerce degree. And so for students who maybe have that entrepreneurship side and want to get into the restaurant industry, it's a great major to go into. And many of our graduates have actually started their own restaurants, and they work in the Guelph region. Ryan, I know you're a proud BCom graduate, and many of your friends went on to pursue their own companies. And maybe just want to speak to a little bit how with our co-op stream, maybe if you want to first start talking about how that works and how really with co-op you can go anywhere, and there's lots of great opportunities kind of expanding the Guelph region.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Jesse. And really, I was a co-op student myself during my days on campus, and it's really an amazing opportunity just to not get experience just in the city of Guelph, but also using all the resources we have in the region. So being a co-op student, I was a co-op student in management, economics, and finance. So really, I focused on the finance side of things, and I was able to try out so many different jobs on a personal level and really get experience across the board. And then when we look, and if any of you have had the opportunity to tune into one of our general presentations over the past few weeks, you would get that sense of the community feel. Every one of our liaison officers really instill that community vibe that you feel at the University of Guelph. And that's just not on our campus. It really carries over into the entire city itself. And what I mean by that is within our Bachelor of Commerce program, we take a strong focus on sustainable business, putting people before profit, putting ethics and morals at the forefront of all business decisions. But that's also ingrained in our community field within the city of Guelph. Guelph is home to so many large corporations with which their company values, their morals, their ethics, they directly reflect those of our university and the community itself. A great example of that is Danby Electrics. Many people have known Jim Estill. He's a very well-known, globally known CEO whose selflessness and incredible philanthropy efforts have been recognized in so many different awards and accolades over the years. He's received an honorary PhD from the university over the years as well. Linamar is one of the forefront manufacturing companies within Guelph. The Hassenfratz family, they've been very well known. They've been no stranger to the university over the years. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, which is really the cornerstone contributing to the economic success of the university. We've also had so many local businesses that were started right here within the Guelph region, as well as right on the university campus. And I'm so proud and I'm very privileged that we have one of those individuals themselves in Mike Sutton tonight. So Mike, I'm gonna invite you back on camera. So Mike is the founder of Canadian Barbecue Boys. He launched his business in 2015 while he was a first-year student at the University of Guelph. So Mike, thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate you taking time off. I know being an entrepreneur, it's hard to find some of those soft moments and some of that downtime to just kind of relax and unwind. And I'm sure you still have a lot more things to do tonight after this call, but thanks for joining us tonight.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. And I know you've had a lot of success with Canadian Barbecue Boys over the years. Many people, I'm sure many have heard of the business already, but I know you're also on Dragon's Den. One of the things Mike has been known for around at Guelph is that he was a big star. He was on TV for a little bit. So can you talk on your success and some of your experiences at Dragon's Den?
Yeah, for sure. So we started the business after our first year at Guelph, so right in the summer there. And then in our second year, we were lucky enough to get a chance to go on Dragon's Den. We actually the producers gave us a call one day. They came across the website and we ended up, getting on the show, and we got a deal with Jim Treliving, and Honestly, it was really great for publicity and for a number of different things. But all in all, it was a great experience, and definitely got our name around campus there. And we ended up being able to recruit a great team of U of G students to help us grow the business. So many people who heard about our story just wanted to be a part of it, and the community was so supportive in how we grew our business, and it was definitely a big contributor to our success.
That's amazing, man. And yeah, and for those that don't know, I actually met Mike during my days on campus as well. Mike was so involved, not just in his own business, but he took to the community at the University of Guelph too. He really embraced that community feel. He joined so many different extracurriculars and organizations. One of those was just we were cohorts and we were teammates on one of the teams I was a part of, the Guelph Student Investment Council. So my team during my days on campus, I was the president, portfolio manager of the Guelph Student Investment Council. My team managed within the Bachelor of Commerce. We managed a $100,000 investment fund in the North American stock market. And Mike was a part of that team. He joined our weekly meetings, participated in stock pitches. And so I know you're really in tune and you're a part of the Guelph business core and you're a part of the broader Guelph community as well. So what were some of your favorite parts about being a Guelph student or even a BCom student as well?
Yeah, so I loved my experience at Guelph, especially like with starting the business. We got so much support from the university. When we were on Dragon's Den, we were able to take over the U of G Instagram page. They put us all over campus on the TVs. We were retweeted by the mayor and the MP, and just so many people just rose up and helped us spread the word about our story, which did so much for just helping us grow our business, helping us recruit great students. I put everything into the business, and the community of Guelph just really gave it all back and really helped us be successful.
Yeah, and it's really that's something that's to be said for the University of Guelph, and not just Guelph, but the city of Guelph as a whole. It's truly is that community feel. It's a vibe that you feel from the first day you step foot onto our campus until the day you walk off of it. It's something that's very hard to explain. That's what makes our university unique. When we look in terms of every university has a very niche thing that they're good at. That's one thing that the University of Guelph takes pride in. We're very proud of that fact that we have that community-based feel. And I know, Mike, during your time, you're also a part of our Hub Incubator program in the John Wood F Center for Business. So if you can speak a little bit more on that experience as well. I know you guys had great success. You joined that team. You had great connections along the way, and you were able to grow the business a little bit from there as well. So do you want to speak on that a little further?
Yeah, for sure. So when we started the business, we were two guys, just finished like our first year in business. So we didn't really know exactly what we were doing. We just started off, knocking on doors and kind of serving our local community. And then we were lucky enough to hear about the Hub Incubator program through the Wood Center. And so right through the University of Guelph Business Department, they set up an entrepreneurship hub that was pretty much, they brought us in for a 4-month program. They gave us mentorship. They gave us capital to help grow our business. And it did so much for us. We actually ended up having one of the biggest years we ever had after that experience. And they connected us with a number of different professors and different mentors through the community of Guelph that was just amazing. And so having the ability to have things like that on campus, if you are entrepreneurial or you want to kind of get involved in different things, it's just great. It's great having those connections and having so many different clubs and organizations through the university that are there to help you be successful in whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Really, and the big thing I took from that is that entrepreneurial side. So for those students that have the entrepreneurial spirit in them, you want to start your own business, you have an idea or whatever it may be, that Hub Incubator program is so great for really getting that business off the ground, start getting your first initial steps, getting mentors, and just really getting like-minded individuals with you. The Hub Incubator program has grown over the years. So from when Mike was a part of it just a few years ago to today, what it stands as, we're bringing in new people into the Hub Incubator program every single semester. And what that means is not only are you getting mentorship or you're getting funding, seed funding to start your business, but you're also getting an entire cohort of individuals who are also looking to grow their business. Those like-minded individuals are so important when really starting your business, having someone to rely on, someone to call and really relate with as you grow a business. And then we speak about the entrepreneurial side of things. So much about being an entrepreneur is not, maybe it's not starting your own business. Maybe it's going through another adventure within business, whether it's growing a business. And there's so many other opportunities within Guelph Commerce to take advantage of as well. So during my days, I took advantage of case competitions, conferences. I was very fortunate enough to compete in an international case competition during my days on campus as well. And that's just some of the amazing aspects that the commerce program at the university really has. But Mike, jumping back to the city of Guelph, what were some of your favorite things, or maybe you have a favorite restaurant that you went to during your days on campus, or even your campus food life? What were some of your favorite things of the city?
Yeah, so the campus food was great. I always loved it. Going to Creelman was a treat for me every week. But honestly, like I love sushi. I'm a big sushi addict. And so there was so many great sushi spots that we used to go to. And so just the food and the culture in Guelph is awesome. I also ended up getting a dog in fourth year. And it was just so great, just exploring all the different trails and all the nature in Guelph. And he's a husky. So, I mean, I was outside all the time with them. And it's such a good atmosphere because so many other students have dogs and so many other people are so nice and so welcoming in the pet community in Guelph. And so just going to the dog park all the time and just always being outside was such a great way to kind of clear my head when I was busy with studies and busy with business and all the different things going on in my life. So it was just great to have all that right there in your backyard, be able to go on so many different trails and experience, Guelph in a completely different way. So.
Yeah, for sure. I totally understand that. I know Jesse is no stranger to puppies on our campus. We have guide dog puppies on our campus as well. So you see them walking. That's one of the things Guelph is known for as well. We train guide dog puppies right in our campus. So at the start of every semester, you'll see little golden retriever puppies running around our campus. That's just one of the amazing aspects of the university. It's really, you never know what to expect. We have the OVC building right down the street. So home to one of the best veterinary programs in the country, if not the world, ranked number 5 in veterinary sciences. So really on any given day, you can see a bunch of different animals, people walking their dogs on our campus, as well as touring the Arboretum. So I know, Mike, you said you kind of took advantage of some of the walking trails and hikes and things like that. And what are some of the things you found appealing about having a company in Guelph? I know you spoke about hiring students into your company. What did you find unique about our University of Guelph students?
Honestly, yeah, I've hired students from a number of different universities, and I always found that University of Guelph students, they're so much different. I don't know if it's the way that we're taught, but they're a lot more practical in their approach to business. They're not like 100% just book smart, but they also are street smart, and they focus a lot on those different like soft skills. So a lot of them are really great communicators with customers, with other team members. They get a lot of experience working in teams and working with different projects throughout their time. So about half of our students this summer were U of G. And so we still get a lot of support. We get invited every year to all the recruitment events. And so we take advantage of that. But yeah, just hiring from U of G has been great. The students are awesome. And they're very entrepreneurial. They're very driven and motivated. So that's been great.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Thanks so much for that, man. That's really, it's something to be said about our students. They take advantage of getting that well-rounded university experience. So much about being a student is not just simply academic. And that's actually a great segue into promoting our webinar for next week. And that's all about enhancing your degree at the University of Guelph. Jesse, I know you're running that webinar next week, so maybe you can give us a little more info on that.
Yes, for sure. So before I get started, I just want to say thanks, Mike, so much for sharing your experience and journey at the U of G. And I'm sure we'll have some questions at the end from any of our audience members that are attending. But really, hopefully you can see from this session tonight that there's so many factors that you should be looking at when you're making that decision about post-secondary education. As Ryan mentioned, I am hosting the webinar series each week. So our topic for next week is all about enhancing your U of G degree. I know when I was in your shoes, when I was 17, I didn't know the difference between an undergrad degree, a graduate degree, what was a master's program, major, minor. So there's a lot of university lingo that we like to call it that you might need to figure out. So I hope you tune in next Tuesday where we're going to talk about, what is a major and how do you build your best degree? What is a certificate program? We're also going to be having experts from our experiential learning hub, and they're going to talk about maybe if you're a non-co-op student, how can you still get involved and get that experience, really build your resume both in a personal and a professional way. For me personally, I did a placement during my undergrad. I had one at our childcare center on campus. I completed 2 at Sick Kids, which is the Children's Hospital in Toronto, and all those experiences really made me employable after graduation, great work experience, and great kind of education background, but also those soft skills development that really made me kind of pick out certain career paths that I was going into. Also just made me and really give me the exposure to many career paths after graduation and really start networking right from day one. I'm sure Ryan and Mike can both agree that networking is really important when you're in university and starting to build those connections right from year one. I mean, Mike's a perfect example, starting a company at the end of first year. And so I hope you tune into that webinar. We'll also be talking about our Center for International Programs and what exchange programs and traveling abroad looks like at the university. To see a full list of the webinar series, you can visit our website. We also have our campus tour video experience. So that's a great way that you can see campus, because unfortunately tours are canceled and postponed right now just to maintain the safety and health of our tour guides and our prospective students. So we created a video series project where you can hear from some of our tour guides and our staff on campus, and we cover some of the main hotspots that you would typically see on a campus tour. We also have general liaison presentations. So if we've piqued your interest with some of the programs, maybe you're now interested in studying business at the University of Guelph, I would encourage you to visit our general liaison presentations. There's actually one tonight at 7 p.m. They go Monday to Thursday at 12, 4, and 7, and once on Fridays. And then we also have one-on-one meetings. So perhaps after tonight, you want to, pick Ryan's brain a little bit more about business and how he got involved during his time as a student. So you can book a one-on-one meeting with the liaison officer, and you also can chat with current students and our liaison recruitment staff through the platform of Unibuddy. The team did a great coverage on social media today where they talked about what is Unibuddy and some questions that you can ask. So definitely a lot of information to take in and so many different ways that you can connect with us after today's presentation. I hope we piqued your interest in the University of Guelph, but also the city of Guelph, and you saw just how important it is to consider the city when you're looking at post-secondary education. And with that, I'd like to open it up to questions. So to any of our attendees, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop those in the Q&A. And after the presentation tonight, if we didn't answer your question, you can always email us. It's listed on the screen now. It's find.yourself@uofguelph.ca. So Mike, maybe I'll send one question your way. Do you have maybe any advice to students who maybe are following a similar pathway that you did, and maybe any steps that you took to start a business kind of right from year one of university? I know that's a bit of a different pathway. Most students are probably still trying to figure out university in first year, but how did you kind of build those steps to starting your own company right in first year of university?
Yeah, for sure. The first thing I would do is I would reach out to the Wood Center. They host like weekly events, or sorry, not weekly, monthly events where you can just come in even if you don't own a business, or if you're just interested in entrepreneurship. There'll be a lot of entrepreneurs there. They'll tell you all about the programs that they have. People will be sharing different ideas and different businesses. And it's just a really great networking opportunity, just getting involved with that, and all the people that are involved in those clubs. You could also, what I did was I reached out to all my professors. They all knew what I was doing. And so they gave me a break with deadlines. They helped me with a number of different things, and they were super, super supportive because they knew of, my main focus being the business, and just they were very, very supportive. So there's so many different ways you can get involved on campus with entrepreneurship, and those are some of the best ways to do it for sure.
Yeah, and there's now a minor that students can declare as well. And what's really great about minors at the university is, let's say you're maybe a science student or an art student, but still want a bit of that business background, you can declare a minor from the Gordon S. Lang School of Business and Economics. So that's a great resource as well. And Ryan, do you maybe want to talk about Co-op a little bit in how the placement works and how students can really apply to jobs anywhere? They're not limited to a certain region or a certain position?
Yeah, for sure. Co-op is so beneficial. Like I mentioned, I was a co-op student myself. So during my days, I completed 5 work terms, totaling 20 months of paid work experience. I was really able to gain so many different skills and work in different industries, understand the jobs I really loved working in, as well as the jobs I didn't love working in. So some of the examples of the jobs I had the opportunity to work for include working for Canada Revenue Agency, Mississauga, Ontario, as a T1 tax auditor. I worked for Valor Capital Management in Burlington, Ontario, as a real estate analyst, as well. That company, they do private mortgage lending as well as acquisitions analysis. I also worked for Pepsi in their Canadian headquarters as a financial analyst. And then I rounded off my co-op terms by working right on Bay Street in downtown Toronto for the last summer of my undergrad. Amazing opportunity to work right in the financial district, get that key experiences, and make so many different connections along the way. Like Jesse was mentioning, those networking opportunities, having industry connections to rely on. I know Mike can speak to that as well, having those industry connections that you can just send a quick text to and ask a simple question or whatever it may be, or relying for support, having someone that really understands where you're coming from, or especially when you're a young student, you're a young entrepreneur looking to come into business or establish yourself in the business world. You want to make sure you're making connections along the way. And Co-op is an amazing opportunity to do just that. But then again, if the program you're interested in offers co-op or it doesn't offer co-op, there's so many other experiential learning opportunities to get those exact same skills and experiences through field courses, internships. There's so many other opportunities. Like we were mentioning, the Kitchener-Waterloo region is so close to the Guelph area. So we have many students who have gone on to work in the tech hub in the Waterloo region. Waterloo region is quickly growing to becoming one of the tech hubs worldwide. So we have many Fortune 500 companies, Shopify, D2L, Amazon is moving there. Google is establishing a headquarters there, and so many more have been coming over the years. And they're hiring the University of Guelph students for co-op terms, internships, summer placements, and so much more as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. And there's a great question here. So someone's saying that they're interested in coming to Guelph, which seems like a great school. And I can speak for all of us where we definitely agree it's an awesome school. And they're just wondering what programs that we recommend. There's so many different options. And I can definitely know where you're coming from. Guelph has 13 undergraduate degree programs. And even in Ontario alone, there's now 22 universities. So there's a lot to choose from. So maybe we'll all tackle this question. So Mike, maybe do you want to speak to how did you do your research when you were in high school? How did you know the BCom program was right for you? And then Ryan, maybe you can talk about the benefit of attending the liaison presentation and how we address each program. So Mike, I'll send it your way first.
Yeah, I mean, right from high school, I knew I wanted to go into business. My dad ran a business, and we've just had entrepreneurship in our family. And so I always knew I wanted to go into a business program. I applied to a number of different schools and went on a number of different tours. And when I went to that tour to the U of G, I just fell in love with the campus. I fell in love with the community. And I knew that was the only place I wanted to be. So that was it for me.
Yeah, definitely the community feel is something so important. And I know it's a bit tough right now that unfortunately you're not able to visit campus in a normal recruitment year. But as Mike said, just that community feel. And I hope you're able to see that through the presentation and how passionate we are about the university. And all those resources that I mentioned earlier are a great way to learn about the program. Ryan, do you want to talk a little bit more about what they can expect in a general liaison presentation?
Yeah, for sure. And attending one of our general presentations is a great way to kind of pique your interest into some of the different things you'll study in each of the programs we offer at the University of Guelph. So first and foremost, I would recommend tuning into our general presentations. You'll hear a little bit about what to expect, some of the courses, some of the end goals, and some of the careers that come out of each of our programs, whether it's the arts, sciences, commerce, arts and sciences, whatever it may be, and really find where you're passionate about. And then my advice to that is you don't have to have it all figured out right now. Being 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, you're expected to go into university and establish and go through a 4-year program and then go on to a career. But that's not always the case. Once you start your studies at the University of Guelph, you could switch your major, you could switch your program. There's so many different options. So don't feel like you need to have it all figured out. I think Jesse can speak on that a little bit more, maybe about how students could switch their majors or things like that. But what I'd say is attend our general presentations, see where your interests kind of lie, whether it's in arts, social sciences, whether it's in the sciences, you like studying biological sciences, chemistry. And then the other thing to look at it would be in terms of academic requirements as well. So maybe Jesse, you can speak on our academic programs and kind of how they differ from program to program as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. And actually, I'll ask my colleagues, Michelle and Andres, if you want to include the course calendar link to the degree programs to the students' questions so they can click on that link, that would be great. And so this link that my colleagues are going to send shortly, that is a great way to see the classes that you'll take in the degree program. So the link that they're going to send you, you'll see that there is a hyperlink for arts and science, our commerce program, environmental sciences. And I always tell students that that's such a great way to learn about the program that you might be interested in. I know for me, when I was trying to decide what program I wanted to go into from high school, there was in sciences for grade 12, there's biology, chemistry, and physics. And then you get to university, and within our Bachelor of Science program, there are 27 majors to choose from. So definitely a lot of different options. So something that I found helpful was looking at the courses that I would actually take within the degree program. So it was really helpful to see that for child studies, for example, I was taking infant development, I was taking a biology course, I got to take statistics, I got to take some psychology courses, and that really piqued my interest and often gave me a better insight to what degree I wanted to go into. And as Ryan mentioned, also admission requirements will play a big part into it, because if you're only taking social science and arts classes, then that just kind of changes some of the programs that you can apply to. So maybe you're looking more at the arts and humanities, but maybe you are taking a lot of science and physics courses. So maybe you're looking more at the engineering side and maybe our Bachelor of Computing. So I agree with Ryan, definitely attending a general liaison presentation is a great place to start because you'll hear about all of the degree programs. So in 30 minutes, our liaison officers will touch on the admission plan, finances, they'll do an intro, they'll talk about each of the 13 degree programs, and then we'll also talk about residence, we'll talk about food on campus. So there's a lot of information in 30 minutes. And then from there, I think a one-on-one meeting is a great step. So that's where you can have more of an individual conversation. It's held through the software of Microsoft Teams, and you can just chat with the liaison officer about, we're all proud graduates from the university, so talk to us about, what degree we graduated from and why we chose that program. And then another thing that we also have upcoming is Fall Preview Day. So Ryan, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Fall Preview Day, Sunday, November 8th. It's a great day they'll be hosting virtually. And it's going to be a great day to really tune in to figure out more or get more information about any of the programs you're interested in. We'll have current professors, we'll have faculty advisors, we'll have program counselors, and most importantly, we'll have current students in each of the programs we offer at the university. They'll be speaking on their own experiences, some of their own co-op experiences or internships. We'll have professors speaking about the courses, first year courses, what to expect in your first year of studies. But more than just that, we have our Student Spotlight series. So I know Jess will be hosting Student Spotlight series, which will be highlighting all the other student experience sides of university, which we mentioned is so much more important as well. Yes, academics is important, but also being a well-rounded university student, getting the experience and being involved and joining extracurriculars and clubs and organizations. And we'll be covering all that as well. So we'll be covering athletics, hospitality, speaking about our residents. We'll be speaking about the amazing food we have on campus. So Mike said he loves eating at Creelman. The University of Guelph has been ranked by Maclean's magazine as having the best on-campus food for over 10 years and running amongst all Canadian universities. So we'll be having an entire session dedicated to the hospitality services we have on campus, how we cater to all different dietary restrictions and such, and anything in between. So it's an amazing day just to tune in and get much more information and really get a better understanding of the University of Guelph as a whole.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ryan. And you also reminded me about our view book. So another resource that you can use is to download a digital copy of our view book. And I'll ask my colleagues to include the view book link as well. So you'll get that shortly. So you can request a hard copy view book to be mailed to you, or you can download one as well. So those are great options just to read about students in the program, and that might help you choose whatever you're looking at. And as Ryan mentioned earlier, you also have the flexibility to change your major. So let's say you start in Bachelor of Arts and you're in maybe anthropology, and you decide that you actually want to go into sociology. There's a lot of flexibility in first year, so you can definitely change your major. There are a couple of restrictions just based on the competitiveness of some of the majors, so it might just be more of an application process and just based on space. But generally speaking, you can definitely change your major at the university, and you don't need to have it all figured out. One of my colleagues on the call tonight, they started undeclared in the business program and then declared a major at the end of first year. One of them started in accounting and then changed their major to management, economics, and finance. So we're here to support you throughout your time. And I would say all those resources that we just mentioned are a great way to learn more about the university. So I think that really concludes the Q&A. Mike, I have to give you an opportunity to do a shout out to your company. So maybe you just want to wrap things up by telling us what your company does and also where people can find some more contact info for you.
Yeah, for sure. So our business, Canadian Barbecue Boys, we provide barbecue cleaning services throughout Ontario. The plans right now are to expand to BC and Alberta in 2021, and then hopefully into the US. And yeah, if you want to check us out, go on Instagram, Canadian BBQ Boys, and give us a follow and follow along.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Mike, for taking time to chat with us, and Ryan as well. Your expertise was great. And to everyone that attended, we really appreciate you taking the time. We know it's a lot. It's a different recruitment cycle for this year, but we hope we were able to provide you with some great information. Please visit our website. Feel free to email us. We're here to support you on this journey, and hopefully we pique your interest about the University of Guelph. Thanks so much, everyone.
Have a great night, everyone.
Take care.